Welcome to my channel. Alright, so let's talk about the 2026 Subaru Crosstrek, because if you've been following Subaru for a while, this is one of those updates that quietly matters way more than it seems at first glance. The Crosstrek has always been that do-everything, go-anywhere Subaru, not the flashiest car on the road, but the one that somehow ends up at trailheads, snowy parking lots, camping trips, and daily commutes without ever complaining. And for 2026, Subaru looks like they're refining that formula instead of reinventing it, and honestly, that's probably the smartest move. Right away, the design is familiar but sharper. Subaru didn't go wild here, but the Crosstrek gets a tougher, more confident look. The front end looks a little more upright and rugged, with a grille that feels more in line with Subaru's newer SUVs. The headlights are slimmer and more modern, and the cladding around the wheel arches still screams, "Yes, I will drive down a dirt road without hesitation." From the side, it's still clearly a Crosstrek, but everything feels slightly planted. The stance looks wider, the proportions feel a bit more muscular, and it gives off that subtle vibe of, "I'm small, but I'm not soft." Around the back, the taillights look more sculpted, and the rear bumper design feels more trail-ready, especially on trims aimed at adventure-focused buyers. Now, where things get really interesting for 2026 is under the hood. Subaru is clearly leaning harder into hybrid tech, and the Crosstrek is expected to benefit from that. The hybrid setup isn't about turning the Crosstrek into a silent city car. It's about improving efficiency while keeping that dependable all-wheel drive feel Subaru is known for. The big deal here is balance. You still get smooth power delivery, but with better fuel economy and lower emissions. It's designed to feel natural, not complicated. You drive it like a normal Crosstrek, but you'll probably notice fewer stops at the gas station and a smoother response in stop-and-go traffic. Subaru's goal seems to be making hybrid ownership feel boring in the best possible way. And yes, Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive is still very much part of the picture. This is not a hybrid-first, capability-second situation. The Crosstrek still prioritizes traction, control, and confidence, especially in bad weather. Rain, snow, gravel roads, this thing is built for people who don't want to plan their life around road conditions. Off-road capability is another area where the Crosstrek quietly shines, and 2026 continues that trend. Ground clearance remains a strong point, which is something a lot of smaller crossovers just can't match. Subaru also keeps their terrain management systems focused on real-world use, not flashy modes you'll never touch. If you've ever driven a Crosstrek on a muddy trail or a snowy back road, you know it doesn't try to act like a hardcore rock crawler, but it also doesn't panic when pavement ends. That confidence is still there, and trims aimed at adventure lovers are expected to keep features like skid plate protection, all-terrain tire options, and slightly tougher suspension tuning. Inside, the 2026 Crosstrek takes a noticeable step forward. Subaru's interiors have improved a lot in recent years, and this one feels more modern without losing that practical, durable vibe. The center screen is larger and more responsive, with better smartphone integration, and thankfully, Subaru still keeps some physical controls where they actually matter. The seats are comfortable, supportive, and designed for long drives, not just quick trips around the town. Materials feel nicer than before, especially in higher trims, but nothing feels overly delicate. This is still an interior you wouldn't stress about after a muddy hike or a snowy ski trip. There's also more attention to small details, better storage spots, smarter cup holder placement, and improved visibility all around. Subaru has always done a good job with outward visibility, and that's something a lot of newer vehicles forget about. In the Crosstrek, you still feel aware of your surroundings, which makes daily driving way more relaxed. Safety, as always with Subaru, is a big focus. The latest driver assist tech is expected to be standard or widely available, and it's designed to work quietly in the background. Lane support, adaptive cruise control, and collision avoidance features are there to help, not annoy, and Subaru continues to tune these systems to feel smooth rather than intrusive. Now, let's talk about pricing, because this is where the Crosstrek really keeps its appeal. While official numbers may vary, Subaru's strategy with the Crosstrek has always been value. You're not paying luxury brand money, but you're getting capability, safety, and reliability that punches above its weight.
Compared to previous generations, the 2026 model may see a slight increase, especially with the added tech and hybrid options, but it's still positioned as one of the most accessible, adventure-ready vehicles you can buy. And when you factor in fuel savings from the hybrid setup and Subaru's strong resale value, the overall ownership picture still looks pretty solid. So, how does it compare to older Crosstreks? Honestly, it feels like a natural evolution. Everything people liked before is still here. The all-wheel drive, the reliability, the outdoorsy personality, but it's wrapped in a more refined, efficient, and modern package. If you're coming from an older Crosstrek, the biggest differences you'll notice are the smoother ride, improved interior tech, and the hybrid system's efficiency. It doesn't feel like Subaru changed the Crosstrek's personality, it just feels like they helped it grow up a bit. At the end of the day, the 2026 Subaru Crosstrek isn't trying to be the loudest or most aggressive SUV on the market. It's for people who want something dependable, capable, and easy to live with. The kind of car you don't have to overthink. You just load it up, point it towards wherever you're going, and trust that it'll handle the rest. And honestly, that's kind of why the Crosstrek keeps winning people over year after